Imagine you are trying to merge onto a busy freeway, and suddenly your gas pedal feels completely dead, or even worse, the engine starts racing on its own while you are sitting at a red light. This terrifying experience is a classic sign of the P2120 trouble code, which means your powertrain control module has detected a high voltage input from the throttle position sensor circuit designated as G. In modern American vehicles, we use a system called drive-by-wire, which means there is no physical cable connecting your foot to the engine, and instead the computer uses electronic sensors and a motor to open the throttle plate. The G circuit refers to a very specific part of this complex system, and when the voltage stays too high for too long, your car will usually enter a safety mode called limp mode, which severely limits your speed to protect you and the engine. You will notice your acceleration is almost non-existent, and your cruise control will stop working entirely, and you might even experience the engine stalling out when you try to idle at a stop sign. This high voltage signal is often caused by a short circuit in the wiring harness or a failed sensor that has internally broken down, but one very common and overlooked cause is actually heavy carbon buildup around the throttle plate. Over thousands of miles, oily gunk and soot can build up inside the throttle body and physically jam the plate open, which tricks the computer into seeing a high voltage signal it did not ask for. To fix this, you should start by doing a thorough visual inspection of the wiring and the connectors for any green corrosion or frayed wires that might be touching metal. You should also take off the air intake hose and look inside the throttle body for any black sticky deposits and clean them out using a specialized cleaner. If the cleaning does not work, a technician will use a digital volt-ohmmeter to check the 5-volt reference signal and the ground circuit. They will slowly move the throttle and look for the voltage to transition smoothly from 0.5 volts at idle to 4.5 volts at wide open throttle, and if they see any sudden spikes or if the voltage stays glued to 5 volts, then the sensor is definitely defective. Keep in mind that on some newer models, the manufacturer requires you to replace the entire throttle body assembly and the actuator motor as one single unit, so you want to be absolutely sure about your diagnosis before you spend money on expensive parts. If your car is currently stuck in limp mode or the throttle is behaving unpredictably, you should not drive it on public roads and instead get it to a professional shop where they can use an oscilloscope to see exactly what is happening with that electronic signal before a small sensor failure leads to a dangerous situation on the road.